Welcome back to the channel where we talk all things Longmont and surrounding areas, and specifically today we are focusing on the Tri-Town area just outside of Longmont, which includes Frederick, Firestone and Dacono. So we will be looking at the July 2023 real estate stats. If you're thinking of moving to the area, you won't want to miss this so you know exactly what is going on. And if you have been watching my videos or you enjoy this one, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, if you are moving to the area and you're feeling a little lost and need a little help, my contact details are down below. I get texts, emails, and calls from people just like you every day, and I love helping, so contact me. Now, let's get on with these real estate stats. Okay, so we are going to start with looking at what actually sold in the area in the month of July. So let's look at the most expensive house that sold in Frederick in July. And this one was located on 5053 Tipple Parkway, Frederick. And I have featured this house before. I do little shorts with the most expensive and cheapest throughout the weeks. But this is an old farmhouse here in Frederick, located near Frederick High, and it sold for $970,000, so a little over the list price. It sat on the market for 19 days and it closed in early July. It is on acres, which is why it was so expensive. So nearly 5 acres, which explains the price there. All right, let's go back to that list and let's look at the next expensive one, which was most expensive, which was in Firestone. This is also an older farmhouse, and let's look at how many acres. 5.32 acres, closed at $789,750, and you can see definitely an older farmhouse that needs some updating and some work. So you are definitely paying for the land on that one. Go back to the list and let's see. The most expensive house in Dacono sold for $575 is in Sweetgrass, which is a popular neighborhood here. It was on the market for 40 days, which we are seeing more of right now. And as you can see, it is a more updated home. Some of these homes in Sweetgrass have fabulous views. It has a community pool and clubhouse, and it is right off 25, so it can actually be a great location to live in. And you can see that the highest price in Dacono is very different to the highest priced houses in Frederick and Firestone. So let's look at the cheapest houses that sold. So we have Frederick here, and this is one of the kind of original homes in Frederick. You'll see that it needed some updating as well. Has some original features and then probably was updated around the 80s or 90s and hasn't been touched since. It is on a big lot and very close to downtown Frederick. It sold for $336,000. It spent 5 days in the MLS, which is pretty good for our average in the MLS right now. And we'll go back and we will look at the cheapest place that sold in Dacono. And it is a manufactured home. And there are a lot of manufactured homes in Dacono, but a lot of them own their own land, which is great because Firestone and Frederick, that is not necessarily the case. You are paying lot fees as well. So you can see it's a very standard, very basic type of manufactured home that sold in Dacono for $351,000, and it spent 2 days in the MLS. And then let's find the cheapest that sold in Firestone in July. It was $432,500, spent 26 days in the MLS, and it is one of the older brick ranches in Firestone. Also needs some updating inside, big lot in old downtown Firestone. So that gives you an actual idea of what the homes looked like when it comes to the most expensive and the least expensive here in Firestone, Frederick, and Dacono. Let's look at a mid-range kind of house. And really, the Dacono mid-range was probably the one I showed you for the most expensive, but we will pull another one up here. Let's look around 471. Okay, so a mid-range home in Dacono, listed at 471, 1,400 square feet. It sold in 20 days. This is in Autumn Valley Ranch. These homes are newer. So you can see this is a single-story home. It is quite nice inside, has some updates. Very nice. They've done some custom work in there as well. A lot of these houses are just builder grade. So that's a good one to give you an idea at 471 what you would get in Dacono. And then let's look at Frederick. So let's look at a mid-range home in Frederick. So you'll see this is a new build. It was built in 2023. It's in Hidden Creek, which is a great location because it is close to downtown Frederick. So mid-range sold for $531,900 and it sold in 0 days. This one went on the market and went off the market. They don't really have any other photos than the outside of the home. And then we'll take a look at one in Firestone just to give us an idea there. So let's look at this one. Listed at $530,000, $540,000, sold at $540,000. This is Stone Ridge neighborhood, which is a very nice neighborhood in Firestone. So you'll see they've done some updating like floor and paint, but things like cabinets and countertops are probably original. And that was $540,000 and spent 17 days in the MLS. Okay, and for those of you that love stats, we are now on to the stats part of what happened in the real estate market in July 2023. So we are starting with Frederick. I'm going to break these up separately because they, even though we call it the Tri-Town area, they are separate towns and they kind of have their unique flavors which can affect the real estate market. So we are starting with Frederick and we are looking at the average close price, and you'll see here the average price of a house in Frederick in July was $521,816. And we'll see how long these spent on the market on average, which this has gone up for sure. Feels like it. July, 27 days. So June, we were at 25. May, we were at 28. July, 27. And I expect this to climb in August. So you can get on next month and see if my prediction was wrong or right. And you can leave me a comment about it. But I do expect it to climb just from what we are seeing in the market right now. Okay, and now we are on to Firestone. So let's look at the average close price in Firestone. It was $529,229, and it was actually a little higher in June. So we dropped a little in July, but that can happen just from having a huge sale that kind of tipped the average to not having one. So, but we're looking in that low to mid fives, and then let's see how long things spent in the MLS on average in July. On average, we have 15 days. Now, I know because I have a listing in Firestone right now that this is probably going to go up. We all of a sudden, just in the past couple of weeks, have seen things kind of starting to sit longer. So I imagine this may go up in August as to how many days things are sitting on the market in Firestone. Now let's check out Dacono. All right, so looking at the average close price, which is the average sale price in Dacono, $479,077. So you can see in Dacono that on average, the close price is lower than Frederick or Firestone. It can be a great place to buy because you're still getting the benefits of like downtown Frederick and events and things that go on. And I have a map tour of Dacono, so be sure to check that out to kind of get an idea what goes on in the area. But yeah, that average house price is always lower than Frederick and Firestone. And then let's look at how many days things sat on the market on average in Dacono, in 34 days. So things sit a little longer, they're a little more affordable, but you still get that benefit of those surrounding areas, which can be great. And that wraps up our market review for July 2023 in Firestone, Frederick, and Dacono. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you are moving to the area and have any questions at all, don't hesitate to contact me at my information below. It is Hayley Bartlett with Realty. See ya.